in the beginning and the onset of my drug and alcohol use, it was phenomenal. It was everything I was looking for. It was the warm hug on a cold day. It was the good night, have a good sleep when you go to bed. It was the hello, good morning, I love you. It was everything. So years went on, drinking continued, got to a pushing point, a tipping point where I knew this wasn't the way to live your life. And I would legitimately cry myself to sleep every night. But I would wake up and do the same actions every day. It became kind of a tug of war. But the one day I came home drunk, depressed, sad, angry. I went to bed and I didn't cry. That was the day I know I needed help. And I've been seeking help. I'm with counselors and I'm resolved to get past this. But I know I'm not perfect. And I know that in my entire life that what I've been given to fix things is alcohol and drugs. So how I felt, it was the only answer I had. Halfway through it, I wish I never made that answer. By the end, I lament myself and have a lot of angst for the answer I came up with. But the next day, I'll come up with the same answer. It will always come back to the same answer. There is no other reason than self-medication. I mean, there was never a point where I thought it was glamorous or acceptable or fun. It wasn't something that I did socially. Yeah, it was absolutely self-medication. I mean, drugs to wake up, drinks to get through the day, drugs to go to bed. I mean, there wasn't a second of normality or non-medication. It fixed me. It fixed me. So quite honestly, I'm at a point where it's terrifying. I'm in the initial stages of looking for help for my mental health. I've initially been treated for anxiety, but it's the back and forth, right? It's the how do you feel now, and let's switch your pills, and we'll do this, and I would say that dealing with my mental health issues right now, I feel very much alone. So it's like being stuck under the ice and looking up at the world happening all around you. And you want it so bad. You want to break that ice and you want to get through it and you want to be up there with everyone else. But you're cold and frightened and alone. Darkness is all around you. But there's a transparent kind of roof where you can see the world happening. And it just accentuates the darkness, the fear, the loneliness, and the cold. It steals me. It steals my soul. It steals my life. Do I have issues before the drugs? And the drugs fix it? Or do the drugs create the problem? It's a back and forth. I mean, in the beginning, alcohol and drugs were awesome for my mental health. It was everything I needed to be. It personified me times 10. What I thought of myself in my head was exemplified by the drinking and the drugs because it went through me. But as time progressed, as realization set in and self-awareness set in, I saw what I was doing. I saw how I was living, how I felt, what I was doing to be a functioning member of society, and that's not healthy, that's not normal, and then it started weighing on me. It started going against me. So what was helping me turned into something that was detracting from me, that was taking from me. There definitely needs to be a responsibility on each person to find it, to do it, to go out. And I promise you, just the realization that you're going to do it and you're going to go through those steps and you're going to flip through a phone book and make a call and go in for an appointment, that's amazing. That's a good thing. That is 100 times better than waiting on a doorstep for 3 hours for a drug that's not going to make you feel any better. As terrifying as it is to realize that you're the only one that's going to help yourself, it's kind of empowering in the same breath. You're going to help yourself. You're going to help yourself. The same way that you destroyed yourself now. You get to take that power and help yourself. And you need to be assertive and forthright in what you need and honest. And if you're not going to help me, if you're not going to say the things I need to hear, or if you just look at me like I'm a drug addict when I'm talking about my mania, or you're going to look at me like I have mania when I'm talking about my drug addiction, then find someone else. There's a silver lining of hope to it. It's realizing that I'm not who I was for the last little bit. I don't think those things that I was thinking, and then I'm not destined for failure. It's as much as now is so terrifying, it's just as much hopeful that there is a chance for me. There is something. I want to know that for the many years that I spent taking away from this world, and everyone needs to understand, if you're a drug addict and alcoholic, as much as you're doing damage to yourself, you're doing damage to the world. You're robbing the world of who you are. You're robbing the people of who you are. You're robbing yourself of who you are. So my goal for the future is to be who I am. For my ups and my downs, to help the world, to help people.
I knew that when I used and I put that needle in my arm, that within 6, 7 seconds, I was numb. And I was going to be numb for 6 hours. And it didn't matter what you did. Oh, well, I'm numb. I don't feel it and I don't care. And that was the reason you use, because it's a predictable outcome. You know that you can't get hurt. You know that you're not going to think depressing thoughts, bad things that you've done that you now feel sorry for. That's why I used, and to cover all that up. The last 6 months that I used was awful. It was you build it up in your head that when you use, you get this high. So that's all you want to do is get that high. But then when you start thinking about it in your brain that you're not doing the right thing, using, it's not good for you, it only leads to trouble, that starts to, you feel shameful and guilty and when you use after that, so it ruins the buzz totally. But you set yourself up, you put yourself up there and in those situations, and that's where slips happen. And and you might say, oh, well, I'm not going to use, I'm just going to go over to Bill's house and shoot the shit, play some cards and so forth. Oh, well, we played the cards, we shot the shit, I did great for 3 hours. Well, maybe I'll just do 1 pill. There you go. First one you do is after again, the next day and the next day, and then you don't want to stop because you don't want to be sick. And you always come up with an excuse to use. It sounds so logical when you're an addict. It does, but it's not. A trigger to use comes into your head very quickly. And there's things that trigger places, people, smells. And what I learned is that if you act on those feelings, you're going to use, if you have a trigger. But what I remember in my head is that thought came in split second into my head. Well, it can leave just as quick. So just getting up, going into the bathroom, going into the kitchen, getting a coffee, something, anything to take your mind off of it for a minute or two. Pick up a book, open up the computer. I love to play poker, so I'm always online playing poker. Just those actions, and that thought's gone. It's just, and went right back out. You have to get over the fear that people are not out there to hurt you. And there's a lot of people I know, the users, and that they got this stigma against it. And why would they want to help me? And that's what happens when you're an addict. That's how you feel. So you don't seek out help. You don't believe people. But when you're straight and you think about it, it's like, they're getting paid to give you advice and try to help you. So why would they want to hurt you? They're not out there to hurt you. They're there to help you. And once you realize that and accept it, recovery is really easy. Time. The time of using, crashing, want to get better, don't get better, want to get better. It's all time. Nothing happens overnight. So it's a lot of wondering. It's not wondering if I'll get better or when I'll get better. Just it takes time. Before I used, I judged people. Oh, look at them, that's a crack addict. Look at them. No wonder they're always broke and this and that. I'd never say that now. I'd never say that. They have issues. They don't know how to ask for help. I feel sorry for them. Really do. I see people like that and they're not getting help because they're scared to go talk to somebody and say, I need help. That's all I did. I said, I need help. Please help me. You know how many people come forward and said, let's help. Have faith. Get a friend. A real friend. Somebody that knows you. Be honest with them. I said, well, Ashley, I reached out to you. I'm clean. I was early in my recovery. I said, I'm clean. I want to be your dad again. And she says, F off. She goes, you dragged me through the mud for the last 6 years, worrying about if you were even going to make it to the next time I come to see you on the weekend. Going to bed at night wondering if I was going to overdose or if I'd be alive in the morning. She disowned me. Called me a piece of shit. A junkie. She was getting married. She was engaged. She was getting married and she's glad that I couldn't be there. Killed me. I broke down. Chronic depression, yeah. And yeah, that's why I used was depression. So he hit the nail on the head. So now I have to address him. And it's not easy. It's not easy admitting to yourself you have flaws, admitting to other people you have flaws. Not knowing how long it's going to take or if I'll ever relapse, that scares me. Because inside of me wants to be strong and say, you'll never use again. But I can't say that. Because if I say that, then I'm just lying to myself that I'm that strong. I got a little saying that I use is, I'm under construction from self-destruction. So I'm under construction. It's exactly what it says. It's under construction. And being in the construction trade, things don't go according to plan all the time. Things have to be tweaked here and this has to be changed here. So I'm under construction from self-destruction.